Hey there, we've been living in this van for 3 years now and we really love this lifestyle. In this video, I'm going to share with you some van life hacks, hints, tips and must-have items to make this lifestyle easier and more enjoyable. If you're thinking about van life, if you're just starting out living in a van, or even if you've been living this lifestyle for a long time, I hope that you find these tips and tricks useful. Our van is a long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter. We've got a fixed bed at the back here with a garage underneath for our mountain bikes, our hiking gear and our kite surfing gear. And we've also got in here our full bathroom. So we've got a hot shower in there and a composting toilet. So let's get right into it. One of the biggest challenges when you're living in a van is storage. Number one van life hack for saving space is hanging jars in your kitchen. We keep a lot of things in there, from oats, rice, tea bags, coffee, things that we use quite regularly. Now I'll admit, hanging jars wasn't my idea and a lot of people use these in their van builds, but the important thing is to make sure that they're secure. We found that over time the lids would start to break, so we've added in this bead of Sikaflex there, which keeps them nice and secure. We also stop the lids from spinning around by using several screws. I think we've got like 5 on each one. One of the best ways we've found to store your clothes is in packing cubes. So we have our clothes in these little overhead cupboards here, and on each of our packing cubes we have written what's in there, so it's always easy to find the right type of clothes. So put all your t-shirts in one, your shorts in another, your dresses in another, etc, etc. Another really good tip is, rather than folding your clothes, to roll them. So this keeps them, well, I was going to say a little bit less creased, but this one's covered in creases. It's an old traveller's hack. Maybe I didn't roll this one very well, but anyway, it's supposed to keep your clothes a little bit less creased. Now, a great way to store your winter clothes during summer and vice versa is to put them in cushion covers. So we have several cushions up here because it's really nice to sit up in bed and watch a movie. But we realised the cushions were a bit of a waste of space. So what we did was we chucked out the cushions and we put all our clothes into the cushion cover. So if you've got cushion covers, just chuck out the cushion, as long as it's got a zip, and you can stuff things like puffer jackets and fleeces and scarves and all, like I've got all my winter gear in here now. It's a great way to store the clothes and super comfy for sitting up in bed watching a movie or having a little nap in the afternoon. Oh, wait, let me get back to the video. One other thing that I do is I do have a couple of coat hangers and I pop them in the bathroom so I can put a dress on them in the evening, and then hopefully by the morning, if it did have any crinkles in it, those creases will all have dropped out overnight. Most van lifers like to wear hats. Nigel created this amazing hat rack just by using these 2 pieces of stretchy cord and screwing them into the bottom of this overhead shelf here. Our van is a 4x4 and we really love getting off-road. The Australian outback is one of our favourite places to explore. Once we thought the outback was just an empty desert, but we soon discovered that this is the real Australia. So the stunning scenery, hidden waterholes, incredible Aboriginal culture. We keep finding ourselves being drawn back to these red dirt roads. However, these roads can be rough and sometimes little accidents do happen, and it means that things rattle around in the van a lot. So here's some of the things that we've done to de-rattle our van, but also these things help to stop breakages and to keep things safe in the van. The next item we want to recommend is stubby holders, or beer koozies, whatever you want to call them. These are not only good for keeping your drinks and your beer cold, but they're also really good to store things in. We put our glasses inside them and we can then store the glasses inside our coffee cups up here in our crockery cupboard. We also use them here in our pull-out pantry. We've got things like jars of peanut butter stored inside stubby holders that stop them rattling around and protect those jars from breaking. Our next tip, and this is also in our crockery cupboard, is to put rubber matting in between your plates. Nigel actually likes to wrap it around things. I don't really bother with that. But in between the plates, it's really good because it keeps them from rattling and stops breakages. And you can buy this rubber matting, you can either buy it in sheets or in rolls, lots of different places. You can probably get it at Kmart, Target, definitely online you can buy this. Yeah, it's fairly cheap, but really, really effective. When we first set off, I had a beautiful indoor plant in this pot. Sadly, when we crossed the border into Western Australia, you can't take any fruit, vegetables, or plants over with you, so I gifted the plant to a fellow van lifer heading in the other direction. We're in a pine plantation here, so I might go and grab a little bit of pine and decorate that as a Christmas tree because it's Christmas in a couple of weeks. Anyway, the best way to stop your pot plants from toppling over in the van is to use Velcro. I simply stuck Velcro to the bottom of the pot, and then the other piece of Velcro is on the bench here, and so the pot simply sticks into place there. It's wobbling a bit at the moment because there's nothing in it, but it won't move around and it's never fallen off. If you're finding these tips useful, don't click away, stick around to the end because we've got some really good ones still to come. But while you're here, if you are into van life and like all these tips and tricks, what's great about van life and what's not so great about van life, please hit that subscribe button because we'll be bringing you a lot more van life content over the next few weeks. Don't forget to ring the bell so that you'll be notified each time we upload a video. One of the best things about van life is being able to spend time out in nature. We are real outdoor adventurers. We love hiking and mountain biking, being on the beach. But of course we're at the mercy of the elements. Sometimes it's really hot and other times it's really cold. We have these insulated magnetic covers for our windows. Right now the sun is beaming through that windscreen, but that cover is keeping it nice and cool in here. They also have these really cool ones for the Max fans. You'd be surprised how much heat you lose out of your Max fans. So these things are great. They keep the van cool in summer and warm in winter. This was our first full winter we spent in the cold part of Australia, and in combination with our diesel heater, we're a lot warmer having these window covers. There's a link in the description and a little discount code if you're interested in grabbing some of these, and yes, they do ship worldwide. So the same company that make these insulated window covers also make magnetic fly screens. These are amazing. Now, when we first moved into the van, we just used cheap ones from Bunnings. They only cost about 20 bucks. But, you know, you get what you pay for. While they were magnetic, the magnets weren't that strong, and at a slight breeze, they would blow open, letting all of the flies and bugs into the van. These ones from Living in a Bubble are so much better. The flies in Australia can be relentless. So when they're really bad outside, we can simply retreat into the van and live fly free. Sometimes the flies do manage to get in though, and that is where this comes in handy. This is a electric bug zapper. Ours is a little bit broken inside. Not only is this really effective for killing bugs, mosquitoes, flies, it's also a lot of fun chasing them around the van, especially when you get to hear that snap. The key with this is don't hold it on for too long because they can get a bit smelly when they're dying. And this just plugs in here into the 12 volts. So just in any of our USB sockets that we've got around the van, we can just charge it up. Now, a lot of people when they start van life use travel towels, and we did too when we first started, but we soon got sick of that. But whether you're using travel towels or real towels, keeping your towels dry is always a challenge. So we put this tension rod into the shower cubicle to hang the towels over, but we did find they were falling on the floor. So we then started to put pegs on the towels to keep them from falling onto the floor. Depending on where we had parked the van and which sort of an angle, sometimes there's still a little bit of water on the floor, and if the towel fell off, then the towel would get wet. But it wasn't just the towels falling on the floor. I don't know how many times we'd pull up somewhere and the toilet paper would have unraveled all the way. Water on the floor, wet toilet paper. Not good. Someone gave me this genius suggestion to squash the roll, make the inside of the roll oval. So I've been doing this for a while and I have not lost a toilet roll since. Such a great idea. We do use a rubber band around our paper towel though. We went to all the trouble of getting this ratchet holder which Nigel had to cut down to size because it was too long. But although it doesn't unravel, what we found was when it's super windy, the paper towel does unravel a bit. So the rubber band just helps to hold that in place. So if you have a shower in your van, try putting one of these wooden mats in. So we take the mat out when we shower, but if you then need to go into the shower room to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, to go to the toilet, you're not going to get wet feet. Now, one of my favourite things about living in a small space is how quick and easy it is to tidy up. Now, I'll admit the van gets messy really quickly because it is such a small space, but that also means it only takes about 10 minutes to clean up. A dustpan and brush is an essential item to have in your van to clean up the floor, but another great tip is also to keep the brush by the door, particularly if you're at the beach, because then you can brush off your feet before you bring sand back into the van. Recently we got this 12-volt vacuum cleaner, which has been really useful for cleaning up, getting into these little crevices, nooks and crannies. I love this thing. And it charges off a USB. For our last couple of tips, let's go out to the garage. Oh, the sun's come back out. It was raining before. So in addition to having all our hobby and sports equipment here, we also have a few other useful things. So number 17 is a wind-up hose. So we've got this great hose here, which is a flat hose. It's a 9-metre hose and it's such a great space saver. The other thing that you do need, particularly here in Australia, I'm not sure about in other countries, is one of these. And this is a little tap key. So if you get to a water tap somewhere and they've taken the actual handle off, you can use this, and it's got 4 different fittings, so it fits 4 different types of tap. You can use this to be able to open the tap and get water out. And you can pick this up at Bunnings or any normal hardware store here in Australia. As I say, I'm not sure if you need them in other parts of the world, but this is an absolute lifesaver from time to time. The next one is an inline water filter. So we've got water from all sorts of places around Australia. We use the Wikicamps app to help us find fresh water, but we never know how good that water's going to be. And I can safely say with using this water filter, we have never had a problem with the water. In addition to this inline water filter that we use when we're filling up our water tank, we do have a water filter for drinking water under the sink as well. So there you have it. I hope that you found these hacks, tips and tricks useful. Where possible, I've put links down in the description if you want to get any of these must-have items for your van. If you'd like to know more about our van, go check out this video here. And if you have any questions, just pop them into the comments box down below and I'll be sure to get right back to you. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.